Every single year impresses the global anime community with more and more exciting new series and releases. This year is no different, with some insane new anime coming out as well as the return of some of our all-time favorites. Welcome back to Animeology. We'll be taking a close look at the upcoming anime series that is set to release later on across 2022. With some fan favorites returning as well as some exciting completely brand new releases, this is a collection of highly anticipated anime that you do not want to miss out on. Number 10. The Eminence in Shadow.
もう憧れていた。誰もが子供の頃にヒーローに憧れるように、そうなりたいと思った。影の実力者に。
A fantastic up-and-coming isekai anime series that is based on a highly successful light novel. The Eminence in Shadow has a proper audience base around the world, excited for the latest releases set forth. The story follows a young man that has been training his entire life to become a shadow broker, which is basically a powerful person that operates within the darkness. Unfortunately, his quest for power is brought to an end when he gets the traditional isekai treatment, except it's a car and not a truck. His death gives him a new beginning as he wakes up as the son of a nobleman in magical fantasy land. Sid Kaganao still sets out to achieve his dreams, rescuing a young girl and spinning up an epic tale. Follow Sid as he starts to make up epic stories about his time in his fantasy realm. We soon start to realize that his lies might actually be more based on reality than he would like to think. Number 9. Biao, Blades of the Guardians. Based on a Korean manhwa series, Biao manages to swiftly blend fast-paced action and a dramatical vibe in a semi-historical world that uniquely integrates the concept of magic and the existence of demons. The overall plot is loosely based on a world of special individuals named escorts. These escorts are tasked by the government to assassinate or persuade a target and take their order very seriously. Within such a hostile world, the story of Dalma, a regular person trying to repay favors, is a perfect way to balance the overall heaviness that was just mentioned. Thrown into a world of slaughter, slavery, and countless victors, our hero soon gets caught up in the epic terror that is sweeping through Japan at the time. Number 8. Uzumaki. The thing about this particular entry is that it's most definitely going to challenge its viewers on a whole different level. The psychological play in that Uzumaki aims to present itself is something beyond anything we have ever witnessed. The most notable thing about this entry is that despite the reputation of the manga and how it precedes the status of classic, the anime, from what we've seen until now in leaks and trailers, doesn't aim to embrace the mainstream. The creators are planning to stick to the black and white, old school animation and storytelling, which is perfectly suited for a psychologically driven supernatural horror series that relies on atmosphere and deliverance more than it does on substance. Number 7. Chainsaw Man. To any avid anime watcher or even a light anime watcher out there, there's always that one release once every 4 or 5 years that you know is going to leave such a heavy mark. You just know will be the next big thing. Well, Chainsaw Man will most likely be that next big thing for most people this year. The manga itself is popular enough to rival the sales of titles like One Piece, but it's the anime that will bring true life to the gruesome yet amusing story of this series. You might have guessed from the name, but I'll let you know that Chainsaw Man is going to be a bleak series with humor that will be short-lived and quickly overlooked by how violent and dark it can get. There won't be any spoilers here, but to give you a perspective, the vibe in terms of being a dark series is on par with Attack on Titan. Number 6. Call of the Night. An interesting blend of both the supernatural with some lighthearted romance and comedy elements behind it. This is a relatively new manga series whose huge hype led to this upcoming July 2022 anime release date. Set in a world filled with humans and vampires, we follow Ko Yamori, a 14-year-old high school boy that is insanely bored with his mundane life. Ko literally cannot sleep and cannot find any satisfaction in his daily life and stops going to school entirely. Wandering the streets late at night, Ko comes across a mysterious girl named Nazuna. We learn that she's actually a vampire, and Nazuna shows Ko the fun and joy of being a night walker. Ultimately, Ko really wants to become a vampire himself, but in order to do that, he has to fall in love with her first. In the meanwhile, Ko stays with Nazuna in an abandoned building while she sucks his blood while he sleeps. Number 5. To Your Eternity, Season 2. The first season of To Your Eternity managed to strike the mixture of hope, despair, love, and detachment so well among the audience that people could not refrain themselves from calling it an absolute masterpiece. With Season 2 set to come out soon, I shall point out that To Your Eternity is not for a lightweight audience. The way the story deals with loss, appreciation, love, and the overall concept of life is so beautifully told through the perspective of a being that wasn't even capable of experiencing emotions in the first place. One major weakness of this anime is its main strength, and it's how the creators choose a methodical way of telling their story. While the pace might seem slow, if you give it a broader perspective, then you will find yourself absorbing every moment of it. Number 4. Hell's Paradise. By now, you should know that dark fantasy and psychological thrillers are our greatest weaknesses, so it shouldn't be any surprise that Hell's Paradise is so high up on our list since the manga itself was such a banger. Hell's Paradise follows the story of Gabimaru, aka the Time Hollow. Gabimaru gets captured during an assassination mission, and then he's sentenced to death. However, things get a bit difficult because absolutely nothing seems to be able to kill him due to his unbelievably powerful and superhuman body. It's believed that the love for his wife is what keeps him alive, but the executioner Yamada offers our hero the chance to be pardoned for all his crimes if he's able to find the elixir of life in a deadly new realm that had just been discovered. Having already lost many expedition teams in the hunt for the potion that grants everlasting life, the Japanese shogunate is now sending groups of death row convicts, guided by a single executioner, in an awesome new anime series that is set to be absolutely incredible. Number 3. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3.
もう悪巧みやめたら
An absolutely iconic series, Mob Psycho enters into a lot of awesome anime flavors, from some absolutely phenomenal action scenes and some enjoyable comedy with some extremely heavy-hitting drama. The insane supernatural powers of our MC, Mob, are something you do not want to miss out on. With the third season set to release later this year, fans around the world cannot wait. Starting off as your average middle schooler, Shigeo Kageyama, nicknamed Mob, is largely a background character. No real strong presence or attitude. He carries on and likes to live his life in peace, but we soon realize that Mob is far more than just your average high schooler. Turns out that he's actually an insanely powerful individual with some of the craziest psychic powers that you have ever seen in an anime series. He constantly lives his life under shackles for fear of just losing control and destroying everything. Sometimes he would actually just black out and destroy everything around him. The levels of power that we see and the sort of abilities he has are comparable to a literal god. As the series goes through, we see the true power of Mob slowly begin to break through as the series takes us through a number of interesting and engaging encounters and enjoyable story arcs. As one of the most overpowered anime characters of all time, we expect Season 3 to push Mob to new heights. Number 2. Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War. You don't get to be called the Big Three of an entire generation without packing a serious punch. Bleach has long stood the test of time and proven itself to be one of the greatest and most iconic shonen stories to be ever told. There is literally no point in me describing the premise of Bleach or anything relating to the characters, since it's all so well known. While some fans might argue that the series could have been better with some proper usage of episodes and a better ending, it's to be known that the creators probably knew that they would be continuing it somewhere in the future. With the Blood War arc, Bleach will probably end and have the proper ending that it always deserved. Other than that, all I can say is that you are in for some heavy changes in the power scale and a handful of unexpected deaths. Number 1. Solo Leveling. Fans of this series have been dying for a proper anime adaptation since the dawn of this manhwa. The story that started off as nothing as a one-shot has come a long way, so much so that the fanbase literally wished an anime adaptation to existence. The plot of Solo Leveling isn't exactly the most original story on the block, but it sure does know how to run rapid with what it has. The overall story is based on a world where humans with magical powers fight monstrous creatures in order to survive. Among these humans, who are known as hunters, Jinwoo finds himself as a rather weak hunter unable to fight consistently. This changes, however, when Jinwoo is once pushed to the very limit, and a strange program named the System chooses him, and out of nowhere gives him so much power that he might as well be called a hack. Long story short, you should be really excited for this one, as it has the potential to be the next big thing.